Hello, I'm Coach Natalie, and welcome to this episode of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies. Well, throughout our series, we have covered a variety of head and arm chokes. Today, we're going to cover one more head and arm choke, which is actually very commonly used, and I don't know why we haven't done it until now, but it's called the DARS. And as you remember, head and arm chokes are where you're securing the head in one arm, you know, the arm going over the neck. This is, the setup for this is related to the Japanese necktie, which we of course cover in video 72. The DARS is also sometimes compared with the anaconda. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video. It was named after Joe DARS, who's an American grappler who used this choke an awful lot. So, it's pretty simple. Let's check it out. Okay, let's break it down. So, you can do the DARS from a variety of setups. You might do this when you're in the top half guard, which of course, I'm halfway into my partner's guard here, and I, of course, am the top position. So, a common move that your partner on the bottom is going to be doing is they're going to be reaching underneath your underarm. We call that trying to get the underhooks. Really, they're trying to get to their elbow and, you know, get to the back. You know that if they're trying to get the underhooks, and if I put my arm around their arm, we call that the whizzer. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be whizzering my partner's arm near the underarm, and with that same hand, I'm going to be reaching out underneath their head and grabbing the back of their head. So, again, Sally here thinks she's doing a good job by reaching underneath my arm. I'm whizzering, getting the hand through. Now, actually, I'm going to now secure her head and then secure it further by putting my other arm behind her neck. Then I'm going to put my hand on my bicep, and then I'm going to put my other hand behind her back. And the last thing I'm going to be doing is pressing forward with my chest. Now, the way that head and arm chokes work is that I said you have one arm on one side of the neck, and then ideally you're going to have the other arm on the other side of the neck, and then by pressing it down kind of into a neck sandwich, you're going to be applying their own arm and then your other arm, and it's really going to be squeezing the neck. Now the problem is, if this arm is underneath your, you know, the underhook, this arm is not as close to their neck as it should be. But that's fine, because if I was the bottom person and someone was on top of me, I might also just try to frame, you know, to try to create some space. That's fine. That's even better. So she's, you know, framing against me. Great. Reaching underneath her underarm. Reaching underneath her head. Securing the head. Putting the arm down so that the elbow is on the mat. Securing my own bicep. Putting my other hand behind her back, and then pressing forward. The secret to good jiu-jitsu is not trying to force moves. Ideally, you're using your opponent's actions against them, and in this case, if they're reaching over, you're securing the whizzer. If they're framing you, great. Gives you lots of space underneath here. Again, reaching underneath, securing the head, and doing the darce. Now, a common mistake would be failure to secure the head. Now, if Sally knew that you were trying to do a darce, her way to get out of that would be to arch her head backwards. She might also make this arm really limp and, you know, withdraw it. So you, as soon as you can get that arm behind your head, you really want to secure it. And as I mentioned, you know, while it's nice to make use of this attempt at an underhook, really, if you're really trying to press this arm against her neck, the best way to do that might be to keep this arm pretty close. And so when she's, you know, trying to create space, underhooking, do that. So, you know, you want to make sure that if you're really trying to choke them, you're pressing the arm against the neck. Now, if something's, you know, uncomfortable, even if it's not a proper choke, they may still tap. So, you know, you can probably get it either way. Now, as I mentioned, the setup is kind of similar to when we were doing the Japanese necktie in video 72. And in that case, instead of securing the hand kind of with a bicep like an RNC, what I was doing was putting my hands into what we call a go-car grip. And then I was laying, you know, to my side. Sometimes the anaconda is also compared with the darce. Now, this is an important distinction. If you are doing an anaconda, you're reaching in near the neck and your hand comes out through the armpit. In the darce, I'm reaching in through the armpit and my hand comes out through the neck. So that's, you know, the direction that you're threading your hand in is going to be the big difference between the two. Again, so if I let's say the top half guard, they're reaching through, that's great. Reaching through, securing the head, arm, bicep, pressing my chest, really forcing them into my arms. Or if they're at the bottom and they're just trying to create space, just framing, that's great too. Reaching underneath, head, you know, securing both the head and there you go, the darce. Well, we've got a variety of things what we will not be working on. Next week will be a head and arm. We'll be probably starting to work with some leg locks and stuff like that, things that we usually don't spend as much time on. But in the meantime, you know, thank you for sharing this series with other people. And thank you very much for your support of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies.